So, Wood, you are a bit of a Nintendo Switch enthusiast, aficionado, as in you've been there since the very beginning. I know you've done videos about retro games prior and whatnot, and you still do every now and then, and like other things in general, but the Switch is your bread and butter.
Yeah, I like to think so.
Yeah.
It's been a long 5-6 years.
I think you are easily the best candidate to do this with. I have all of Nintendo's published Switch games laid out in front of us here. I did make some tweaks here. Nintendo Labo is just one thing, not all four, I'm sorry. There's also some things that were like co-published by Nintendo or published by Nintendo in other countries. I'm only doing like North America Nintendo published games. There was some stuff like apparently they co-published like Doom and Skyrim and whatnot with Bethesda. Nah, I'm just doing raw Nintendo.
Okay, good. I like that.
Maybe some exceptions here. I did this very quickly, so it's not gonna be like there might be a couple missing, but I don't think there are.
It sounds good. I think people would be very confused if we had Skyrim on the list, so I think you did a good job.
Well, it's co-published. It's not fully published. So I don't really think it matters. Either way, I want to rank these all on a list. Not even like those trendy-ass tier lists. I just want to do like a full-blown rank. Like, the first one up is Fire Emblem Three Houses. Next one is Pokken Tournament DX. Which one is better? I don't know. We're going to figure it out.
I can give you an answer on that. Fire Emblem Three Houses is clearly superior here. It's such a full-blooded game, so much content. It's Fire Emblem meets Persona. I love that game to death. If we were doing a classic tier list, it would still be S, so S. And then Pokken Tournament, it's fine, but it's not. If the answer is which one's better, it's fine. It's like a B. It's fine.
Things get a little trickier when we bring Splatoon 2 into the equation. Where does that lie in the mix? See, I think, okay, so I don't have like a very big opinion on Pokken Tournament DX. I don't really think a lot of people do. I don't think anybody's like, damn, this is one of the greatest games of all time.
There's a few. Believe me, there's a few. I've been down that road, but it's not. You are right in the grand scheme.
Yeah, well, that isn't. Like I need to be more open-minded. I just assume the world revolves around me and that there's nobody that considers Pokken Tournament to be the greatest game of all time. But I have not met these people yet. But I don't see anybody that says it's the worst game of all time. I'm not saying like it's mediocre or anything. It's just kind of like. It does its own thing. It's good for that. But compared to Fire Emblem, I haven't really had a chance to get fully into Fire Emblem. I like to make fun of it sometimes just because like it is the easy punching bag of the Nintendo franchise.
Wait,
that doesn't mean I don't like it. It's more so. Okay, all right. Well, we haven't gotten to Xenoblade yet.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the easy punching bag.
That'll be fun. It's Xenoblade and Fire Emblem. Those are the ones that just keep on getting games, and people are like, ooh. But Fire Emblem, it's not that I don't like it. It's more so I just haven't really had a chance to, fully embrace it, sink my teeth into it. But I would agree with you that out of Pokken Tournament, it's probably better.
Yeah.
But Splatoon 2. So this is everything up until Splatoon 3. I didn't include Splatoon 3. I didn't really give Splatoon 2 much of a chance when it launched. It was something where I wasn't really like... Splatoon 2 launched 2 years prior, and I got a lot out of that game, played it for like 10, 20 hours or so. It was a great experience. By the time Splatoon 2 came out, I don't really think I was really like in the mood for a new Splatoon. I wasn't like, oh man, like this is just what I needed right now. But I went back to it recently, and it is much better and more different than I ever gave it credit for. Originally.
Yeah. It's a great game. I really love Splatoon 2.
It had a much greater graphical leap than it really seemed at the time. Just playing like Splatoon 1 and then Splatoon 2, it has a lot more going for it than I think I initially gave it credit for. Just at the time of its release, it was just kind of harder to see that. But where does it lie?
Yeah, that's just a long way around to saying definitely better than Pokken. I mean, I think that's not even arguable. Now, this is where it's tough because you have like a Splatfest FPS style shooter, and then you've got a full 100-hour RPG, JRPG. I mean, how do you quantify which is better? In their own respective categories, I think they're both equally awesome.
but which one would you rather like bring into the bunker, like where the world is ending, you need one Switch game?
Well, if I want to put in that scenario, assuming the internet is down, Splatoon 2 is kind of useless, so I'm gonna have to go with Fire Emblem on that one.
Internet is available. Internet's available.
Okay, this is a fun apocalypse.
This is a situation. I'm gonna give you all the possibilities, like everything these games have to offer.
Look, I still gotta go Fire Emblem. You can play it through 3 different times at the 3 different houses, 3 different stories. It's so much content. Personally, for me, I think that game's a banger. But I think they're very equal. That's just my personal preference.
I think, and this is somebody who would probably, you know, if you gave me the option to play Fire Emblem 3 Houses right now in Splatoon 2, I'd probably pick Splatoon 2.
That's
but
fine.
I feel like Fire Emblem 3 Houses did a bit more maybe than Splatoon 2 in terms of like just bringing new things, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
What do you think?
I think what we're balancing here are the masses at large would probably put Splatoon 2 first. It's the more popular game. It's popular right now specifically. My personal bias puts Fire Emblem. I just love that game. I think it's great.
We'll put it below Fire Emblem for now.
Okay.
I'll give you that. But
Okay.
Next up, this is Fire Emblem Central here. We got Fire Emblem Warriors, the original from 2017, the new 3DS game that came to Switch.
Man.
This game was never really the most popular. It wasn't the most popular with Fire Emblem fans, as it didn't really do enough like fan servicey wise. It just kind of focused on the most recent titles like Awakening, Fates, all of that. Nothing crazy.
This was before the Fire Emblem the Warriors games in general became more ingrained in the franchises they were making games for. Now the Warriors games are fully storied. They're canon. They do a really good job of making it feel like an extension of the universe. This is back when they were literally just taking characters and throwing them in a big hack and slash style game. And I think this game was pretty weak personally. There's some fun to be had, but it's definitely under Splatoon. I would say over Pokken, but only because I didn't really like Pokken. But I would fall back on you for that.
I think you can have fun. I think you can have a similar amount of fun with pretty much any Warriors game. At least in the crossover sub-series of Warriors games, where it's like Fire Emblem Warriors, Dragon Quest Heroes, and Hyrule Warriors, Persona 5 Strikers, all of that. You can kind of have the mindless, dumb fun with them in terms of a button masher.
Yeah.
So the gameplay doesn't really... And even though the gameplay is a bit different in this one, just because I believe it uses like the weapons triangle from Fire Emblem, even though it's just like, at the end of the day, most Warriors games, even if you tweak the gameplay a little bit, it's something where I look at Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. I really enjoyed that game, especially when it used more Breath of the Wild, you know, elements, like the runes and your Sheikah Slate. But at the end of the day, I look at that game and I'm just kind of like, it's still a Warriors game at the end of the day. So there's not much, you know, like the gameplay element can really do. I'm kind of torn between putting it above or below Pokken Tournament.
Yeah.
Because Pokken Tournament's, you know, like...
It's a solid game.
It's good for what it is, but also maybe consider the fact... It is a port from the Wii U. It isn't like a Switch must-have.
But this is a port from the 3DS, so
No, I was being cheeky there. It came out to the 3DS alongside it, but it was probably downgraded to the new 3DS. I don't know. You know what? Because you say you threw it to me, I think Pokken Tournament kind of has more of a lasting appeal than... Pokken Tournament's more unique. I think Pokken Tournament's more unique.
Do you feel the fans getting upset? Like they've paid to be here in a way, and they're just getting their favorite franchises trashed on?
I don't really know. I don't really know if it's I don't really know if there's a ton of Fire Emblem Warriors defenders out there. I think there are people that tolerate it.
People get really vocal about their thing, but you're right. It's not that big a deal.
I would say Fire Emblem Warriors is still a Warriors game at the end of the day. Pokken Tournament, while it is similar to Tekken, it's made by the Tekken people. I think it's more unique. I think it has more of a unique thing on Switch, especially considering there is another Fire Emblem Warriors game on Switch that I would say is better.
Yeah, much better.
I think Fire Emblem Warriors had such a limited, just like it didn't really do much for being such a new game. Like, it was a brand new game released during the Switch's launch year, and I think it's the one that most people kind of forget, even though I think Pokken Tournament's also one people forget. So it's just, I don't know, I'll put it below Pokken Tournament. Next up is Link's Awakening.
Okay. Now, You're talking to me, so this is gonna be tough to not be biased.
I love Link's Awakening.
Oh, really? Now
I think it was one of my favorite. It is one of my favorite games of all time, especially the remake.
I want to hear where you're putting it. Then you go.
I would put it. Well, I mean, like, if we want to be unbiased, but who cares? We don't, like, it's gonna be biased regardless.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, here's the thing. Like, I never really have to replay this game. Played it, and I loved it to bits, but I don't really have much of a desire to replay, at least in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
I think Fire Emblem is probably the better buy for most
infinitely
people.
replayable, yeah.
But overall, like, an experience that really, like, sat well with me, and an experience that genuinely improved upon, like, a game that really needed that extra, just like, hey, we need to bring this into the modern day, but keep what makes it. And I think it did an outstanding job, because playing Link's Awakening on the original Game Boy and Game Boy Color, like, it was so tedious to go through that menu every single time you wanted to swap weapons or items. And I think the remake improved upon it significantly. It could have improved upon it even more. There were some things where I'm like, why did you retain that? You know, you could have gone even further. I think overall, I would put Link's Awakening above Splatoon 2, maybe Fire Emblem. I want to hear your thoughts.
This could just be biases coming in, because Splatoon 2 is a great game, but I would agree. I loved Link's Awakening, and I did really love this remake a lot. It's gorgeous. It was so much fun. It's a nice, challenging Zelda game. There's just the thing that crushes it is there is really no replayability. Unlike a lot of Zelda titles, I feel like they, you know, even Breath of the Wild, obviously, but even games like Ocarina and Majora's, I find so much replayability in those that this Zelda game just doesn't really have. I think Splatoon 2 has a lot of replayability if we're going down that avenue, but it's Zelda, and I don't know, man. It's just my weak spot. I'd have to. I mean, the fact that I'm putting it under Fire Emblem should speak volumes that I am trying to be unbiased about stuff, but yeah, that's where I would put it.
Yeah, I mean, Splatoon 2 has, like, if you want to count DLC, it has 2 single-player campaigns. It has, you know, all these multiplayer maps. I mean, like, yeah, instantly, like, in terms of my favorite Switch games, this goes above everything we've listed so far. But in terms of, like, just ranking these more in, like, kind of like a critical way, I would say probably either between Splatoon 2 and Fire Emblem, or right below Splatoon 2. Which, I mean, like, right now, if we're just looking at the 6 games we have, this looks bad. This looks really bad. It's just like, yeah, Link's Awakening goes in the middle and whatnot. But when we start to add stuff, it'll flesh out a little bit more, and it'll look a little better. Of like, all right, yeah, Link's Awakening is still high up there. I think it makes sense between Splatoon 2 and Fire Emblem, but below. Or below Splatoon 2. What do you think on this? I'll leave this one to you.
No, I definitely agree. And I want to say as well, I actually had more fun playing Fire Emblem than I did Link's Awakening, because I just really love that game. So yeah, I'm happy with there or below there. Really, it's up to you. It's your video, your list.
I think it probably makes sense to put it below Splatoon 2, just in terms of Splatoon 2's impact on Switch, just how successful it was.
Okay.
Being an overall more fleshed out game, because I think even though at launch there wasn't as much in Splatoon 2, now Splatoon 2 is this huge experience.
Yeah.
So we're looking at it kind of now. And I feel like, Link's Awakening, I would not hesitate to spend $60 on it, but if you really had to pick one or the other, I would say Splatoon 2 probably has more bang for your buck, but I do feel like Link's Awakening stays with you a little bit more. Next up, Nintendo Labo. I just combined everything all in one. Where do you think Labo goes? I might be a little I might give Labo a little bit of credit.
I love Labo as an idea, a concept, a product. Every time I bought a Labo, opened it, and made it, I did have fun. But then it's over. It's over really quickly. It's something that you can't really replay. You can't unfold it and redo it. Once you've made it, the little games you can play with them are fun, but they don't have replay value. So it does ultimately become very expensive cardboard. Also, my house flooded. way back when, and half my Labo got wet and ruined. So
no, not the Labo.
I kind of have a love-hate relationship. You know, ironically, the only set that didn't get wet was the fishing rod. So
hey,
there you go.
Bad.
There you go. I still have that.
You know, I want to make it very clear. I'm so sorry for the flood there.
That was like 6 years ago. We're fine.
Well, obviously the Labo is also a tragedy that got messed up. But I would say, yeah, I think the concept behind Labo is ingenious. It is it is wonderful. It feels like, wow, this is Nintendo at their most Nintendo. Obviously, you can make the joke that it's like, oh, they're selling cardboard. But I do feel like there is such a genuine fun to putting that together. And I think, you know, that's kind of what Nintendo's going for. That's kind of like the design philosophy behind a game like Mario Maker, or even like WarioWare DIY on the original DS, where it's just like, it's fun to make things. It's fun to just feel like, you know, it's satisfying to put things together, especially when like you're kind of following the directions like it's IKEA furniture. You know, you feel like you feel like a damn genius putting these things together and seeing them actually work. And that initial feeling of like putting that piano together and seeing it work, putting that little RC robot car together and seeing it work is incredible. But for how much space those damn accessories take up and how much you're actually going to use them, I feel like there is such limited appeal with Labo at the end of the day, where it's kind of like, okay, this is for not only people who want to build things and just kind of have that satisfaction, but also people who want to make code games based on these things, because I feel like that's kind of where the replay value comes out of most of these things, is like that Toy-Con garage element of Labo. But that had such limited appeal. You know, it's pretty much only appealing to like people who want to code their own things. And a lot of people that bought Labo were people like me that just wanted to see a piano work or something, and, you know, wanted more of like a game element of it. You know, maybe like, you know, like a piano teaching, a very light one that doesn't really work well because it's a limited piano, but maybe a teaching tool, or like little lessons or something about like just music lessons or whatnot. I don't know, just more to it. And it just felt like there just wasn't enough meat on the bones of most of the games. I only really played the variety kit and a bit of the VR kit.
The VR was pretty cool. Did you play Breath of the Wild in VR?
Yeah, I tried. That's
super unique.
There was a basically like an exploit you could do with like using like the PSVR or something with it for a little bit there, as in like you could just kind of set it up where, since you could plug an HDMI cable into the PSVR, some people found ways to be like, oh yeah, you can kind of get this to work. So I did that, and then I also tried it with like the actual headset. And it does work. I think it works better than a lot of people gave it credit for. I think a lot of people were like, oh, the screen quality is horrible and all that. And I'm like, well, it's not great, but it does work. Where do you think the Labo series overall goes in the Pokken Tournament Fire Emblem Warriors line of thinking? Just like, where does it go on that line?
I feel like the idea is really cool. I do like it, but it was a real miss as a product. I think it just didn't hit with consumers. It is definitely one of the punching bag products of Nintendo. It's really tough for me to look at the creativeness and how ingenious it is and then say, oh, it's worse than Pokken Tournament. But as a product, it just doesn't really have that appeal. I don't know. I definitely don't think it's high.
I think it may be the lowest or second lowest.
Yeah,
of the list
I think I would agree. I mean, honestly, it's almost safer just to put it in the lowest. I hate to say it. I mean, it's not really a game. Something like Lego is great because you can like make it and then unmake it, then make something else or make it again. This is literally just one thing.
Yeah, and you look at like overall, like I think the cheapest you could get was like the VR kit with just the goggles and like one of the toys for like $40.
Yeah.
Compared to like Fire Emblem Warriors, I feel like there was less criticism towards that. I feel like there's like, as in like there's still criticism, but it's not as like a like, like, you know, I kind of look at Labo and I'm like, I don't know about this, man. I like a lot of things about it, but there's more stuff I can kind of complain about than stuff I can really praise. But I still can praise it, and I still really have a soft spot for it. Just the idea alone, I just feel like there need to be more meat there, you know? Like, it's just like, even just like if some of the games had like a score attack mode or a time attack mode or something, like if the fishing game had that or something, but it's basically just like, oh, fish, you see, it works, and that's pretty much all it is.
Yeah, it really wouldn't have been hard to add that stuff in. I'm not sure why they just dropped it. They just didn't want to support it after that.
All right, next on the list, we have a classic. We have something that everybody usually considers like one of the best.
Right. Yeah.
Nintendo published games on Switch. It's Fitness Boxing 2: Rhythm and Exercise.
Love this game.
Have you ever played it? Have you ever played Fitness Boxing 2?
One of the goats of the system. If we still did platinum releases on consoles, this would clearly be a bestseller. Now, obviously, it's going to look weird having this above Fire Emblem right now, but as the list fills out, it's not going to be up there the whole time. But I would put it in number 1.
All right, so.
Didn't even want to.
I like this game. I think it's pretty good. I think overall for what it is, it's not bad. It does give your arms a bit of a workout, whatever. And there's 2 of them. This is the second one, so you know it worked out the first time. I think overall, I would put it. I'll put it above Nintendo Labo.
Okay, all right.
I'm gonna say it.
I'm not even gonna argue.
That's a good thing. I like Nintendo Labo. I spent like an hour praising it slightly. I think for what it is, it's pretty good. Though, it does kind of feel like it's kind of a part of a weird lineup of like Switch games that Nintendo released that feel a little more like Wii Sports, Wii Fit type things without doing it. Kind of see that with like they published Go Vacation, Clubhouse games, and they really just did not want to do like, we don't want to do stuff with Mii's, we don't want to do stuff with like, you know, the Wii Sports aesthetic, Woohoo Island or random stuff from there. But so they kind of contracted these other developers, like a different developer did Fitness Boxing. They were just like, hey, just try to make something like that, and you know, even the front cover kind of looks a little Wii Fit like.
Yeah, it does.
So I think they were just trying to like see if they can like do some of those Wii-esque things without doing them like full blown. But I think a game like this is kind of fun and neat. But I think overall it's not much better than like Nintendo Labo in the grand scheme of Switch games. Or if you want to,
I have no thoughts. I haven't played it. It just looks like a Wii game to me. I never touched it.
Jesus Christ! Like I don't know who I'm talking to anymore.
Hey, what?
Next up, it's Super Mario Party.
Okay, I got thoughts on this one.
Super Mario Party. Yeah, and what are they?
It's bad. It's terrible.
I would say it's mediocre.
No. It's really bad. I would put it below Labo.
No, you would.
Yeah, I would.
I think overall, Super Mario Party was a step in the right direction, and there is some fun you can have with it.
What was the step in the right direction for
the fact that it didn't completely suck ass compared to Mario Party 9 and 10, and they didn't go all the way, and the map designs, there wasn't enough maps.
There was like 3 maps. They were super boring.
They were very tiny. It just kind of felt like there wasn't like any like alternate paths.
No, there wasn't. They were super basic. The whole game was like bare bones basic. The online was non-existent. You couldn't play online with friends. You could only play a selection of the mini games, like 10 of them online with friends. They added support later on where you could do a lot of that stuff. So if we're gonna take that into account, sure. But the newer one that came out was Nintendo really fixing the mistake that was that Mario Party game.
Yeah, I think overall, I would put it below Fitness Boxing 2. I think there is a little more value than like Labo in terms of like a game. I think I got enough fun out of it where I was like, hey, this did its job, kinda.
All right. It's above Labo. I was being facetious.
But I would play Fitness Boxing 2 in a heartbeat in comparison. I just think it was it showed like hope. It showed hope for the future, and obviously Mario Party Superstars, confirmed those hopes were validated.
It was the final Mario Party mistake I think Nintendo had to make before they finally got it through their heads that we just want Mario Party.
Not enough content, but hey, they got a few things right enough. Where just like if you never played a Mario Party before this and you didn't know how decent they can actually be. I think Super Mario Party, you'd be like, that's a pretty good game. But then, you can look at like the N64 and GameCube ones and be like, oh, Jesus, what happened? So, next up is Super Mario 3D All-Stars. This might be an interesting debate to have in terms of like where this actually lies in the list. Where do you think Mario 3D All-Stars should lie?
Yeah, that is a tough debate. I mean, it really is just 3 games ported over. It's barely even a Switch game, but it's awesome, and I'm really glad that it happened. That's tough because my brain goes to multiple places. I mean, you go to replay value, you go to sheer fun, you go to how great the games actually were, but then you also go to the fact that they're 64 Wii games. So it's, how do you quantify it in a list like this? Where do you rank it along? If we're trying to rank Switch games, it's got to be lower. If we're ranking it as far as fun games, I'd put it up there with like Link's Awakening, around that area.
Yeah, it's pretty tricky. I think compilations like this are always really hard to figure out, like where they actually lie in a list. What do you review it as? Because as a compilation, compared to other ones, it's pretty lacking.
Yeah.
Barely any extras. You can tell, like, oh, you included the soundtracks, but it's just like, okay, you know, it's just like, that's kind of like just like an extra that you don't really have to think about including. That's why Nintendo included it. They didn't have to scour through concept art and try to find like, oh man, we're gonna make this and then we're gonna create like a cool interface to flip through everything. You know, like it was just like, nah, we always have this music on standby. Let's just throw it on there. And you know, there was there was no like new art made. Like there wasn't new 3D renders of like you know, any characters to be like, oh, it's Mario 3D All Stars or something. So as a compilation, it's pretty bare bones. You don't even get like whatever save states or anything with like Mario 60, any of the games really. And you know, lack of options. You know, Mario Galaxy on the handheld, you have to use the damn touchscreen for the pointer. But it's still the same games that were like, you know, like some of the greatest games of all time.
Yeah.
On here, you get 3 of them, and just the fact that they were on Switch, you know, like we're begging them to put like anything from the N64, anything from the GameCube, anything from the Wii on the Switch for the longest time. And pretty much one of the first times that they actually did it was, you know, 3 of the greatest games from all those consoles.
That's another good point.
And you know, with slight upgrades, I would put it below or above Link's Awakening overall.
Yeah, I think that's a good spot, and that's also where my mind went when I mentioned that. I was like, Link's Awakening, I'd put it around there. Interesting concept that for a Switch port, yeah, obviously it was very lackluster, but it's hard to put those games any lower. And we were asking for it, and Nintendo was like, fine, here it is. So it's hard to then be like, well, we could have had more. So, yeah, you're right.
I mean, I think it's another easy punching bag. It's something that like everybody's like, oh man, Mario 3D All-Stars. Yeah, you can make those arguments, but people have done that to death. And it's something where I just kind of look at it as it is, and I see a game that includes 3 of the greatest games of all time, and they have slight upgrades. They look better than they ever officially have before. I would put it below Link's Awakening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I think that's a good spot for it.
Next up is new Pokemon Snap.
This is getting harder and harder. I actually really liked this game. I didn't find it had a ton of replay value, which is a shame because I think the game is set up in a way where it's supposed to have a ton of replay value, but I just got kind of sick of doing essentially the same thing over and over and over. But I think it was a great new installment. It's just, it's not the best. It's not my favorite Switch game by any means. It's very forgettable. Like you can easily forget it's even in the library. I think it's in that middle ground again. I think it's somewhere around the Zelda and above Pokken. I think it's definitely better than Pokken.
You see, I would say probably above 3D All-Stars because I think the amount of attention and love poured into this game is very obvious. It's obvious that they didn't just go like, hey, well, let's just do like whatever. Let's just make another Pokemon Snap. Like they were like, no, if we're gonna make another Pokemon Snap, we're gonna go all in on this.
That's true.
And we're gonna make sure like it's beautiful. It has, you know, a good, healthy amount of content. There's more content than I think I was really ever expecting for a Pokemon Snap sequel.
Yeah, and then they added a bunch of extra free content as well.
Yeah, so I think overall, I would put it below Zelda and above Mario 3D All-Stars. I think Pokemon Snap is something you really do have to be kind of in the mood for to play because it is a much slower game, and it's also like you kind of just have to be in that mellowed out mood.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, hey, I'm just going to play a little bit of Pokemon Snap. because sometimes like every time that I played, I was like, I'm like I gotta do stuff today. Like I gotta get something done today. I'm just sitting here playing new Pokemon Snap. But I would say overall the quality of the title is fantastic. I think the amount of content there, and I think it delivered pretty much perfectly what it set out to do. I can't really think of anything that's like, oh well, didn't do this that well. I mean, like you said, like replayability, maybe not the greatest, but I would say I think it accomplished pretty much everything it set out to do. And for that, I would put it like below Zelda, but above Mario 3D All-Stars.
Yeah, I agree. And I did have a ton of fun with it.
I think that's going to be the trend for below Zelda, but above Mario 3D All-Stars, because next up is DC Superhero Girls Teen Power. I think that can go below Zelda, or potentially below Fitness Boxing. I'm open to either one.
I haven't played it.
I did.
You did?
I did for like an hour and a half. I think it would. Yeah. I think overall it is very odd that Nintendo published this game, but overall I think for what it is, it's better than I was expecting. In the state of licensed kids games these days, I think it's a miracle that it's as not bad as it is.
Okay.
There's not really much. I don't know the source material. It's based on a TV show that I've never seen. I played it just because I was, doing my yearly Switch retrospective kind of recap kind of deal, so I had to play it. And when I played it, I was like, all right, like I get it. Like for for little kids, I think it's fine. It's more in depth than it seems in terms of like there's more to it. There's like little worlds you can run around in and stuff.
And that hour and a half was it was enough to tell you it's better than Super Mario Party.
Yeah, I'd say it's better. I'd say overall there's less to complain about.
Okay. Okay, that's fair.
I'd say that's the case. Next up is Skyward Sword HD.
Yeah.
This one's kind of tricky to place.
Yeah.
I think it might be around the 3D All-Stars area.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that a lot of these are going to be tricky for this reason of them being ports. A lot of people complain about the controls in this game. I might have had a different experience where I actually enjoyed it. I didn't really have a problem with the controls at all. The game wasn't as fun as I remembered from back in the day, but definitely still a great game. I mean, even the worst Zelda is a great game. And I think it was a pretty solid port. It's a similar thing. They didn't really do much or change much or add much or do anything really over, the previous release, just like the 3D All-Stars. So I think we got to just stay around that area.
This is the definitive way to play, though I do think the Wii version oddly has some benefits. I feel like if you're going to play with motion controls, I do think the motion controls are better in the Wii version, just based on the fact that the Joy-Con I feel are more unreliable. And I just felt like there were so many times where, at least using the items, using the Joy-Con, just it didn't work great for me. So I would constantly switch back between. I would use motion controls for the sword play, but then after that, if I would go to like a puzzle or something and need an item, I would go into the menu, switch to button controls, and then use the item with the button controls, and that got kind of tiring after a while. But I do think the HD version does help to just showcase what makes Skyward Sword like valid, or in my opinion, of just showing like, hey, this is a good game. I think they went a little too far in just relying on the motion control setup. I think overall, like they could have just kind of like held back a little bit and just really focused on like, okay, like what is the true reason behind these motion controls? Because I feel like in a lot of cases, like, why do I have to use it for the bird? Why do I have to use it for any of that?
It had Pro Controller support as well that I think worked pretty well.
Yeah, I think that was an awesome addition to make, an awesome feature to have. I did not care for the button control for the sword play. I felt like it was a little more awkward, but a lot of people preferred it that way. I also didn't like how the camera was you had to hold the L button. Made me feel like it was like a PSP game or something.
Yeah.
I would say,
You did get 3 Marios for the price of 1, as opposed to 1 Zelda.
You do, but they did more to Skyward Sword HD. but they kind of needed to.
Yeah, they could.
So
I mean, they really had no choice but to.
Yeah. Oh man, it's either above or below 3D All Stars. Because I do think, like, I don't think, like, I do think they could have added more. They added more to previous Zelda remasters, but, you know, I think they added enough in terms of, like, fixes and just making sure it, like, was better.
Yeah, didn't Wind Waker get, like, an extra area on the Wii? The Wii U?
I think Twilight Princess HD did. Like,
yeah, they got,
scanned, like, the amiibo and you got, like, I think it was called, like, the Cave of Shadows.
Yeah. So, yeah, screw that game. Definitely below Mario.
Yeah, I'd say that makes sense. I think it's a valid remaster, and it's a good game to get on Switch. Though I would say out of the 3 major Zelda titles that are out right now in terms of Breath of the Wild, Link's Awakening, Skyward Sword HD, I'd say it's at the bottom of the list of those in terms of like must-haves. I think this is more for like the diehards, you know. Next up, we have Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl.
I don't like it.
I think that's going... Might be going below Nintendo Labo.
Yeah, I don't. I'm so glad you said
above.
that. No. We can go below. That's fine. It's got the ugliest art style I've ever seen for a remake. It was a port I didn't need. I would rather play the original any day of the week.
I'd say if we're being real here, I would put it. Yeah, I'd put it below Labo. Okay. Moving on to. I'm looking at it. I'm just like, I don't really know.
We're agreeing a lot more than I thought we would. I like this.
Yeah, I mean, like, I was kind of thinking, I'm like,
Dude, it is hideous. Like, I don't care what anyone says. I'm sorry, I love you if you're watching and you like it. It's the ugliest remake I've ever seen. It is hideous.
I just think it doesn't add
no
really much of value.
Makes it worse.
Even in terms of gameplay and
the original
visuals.
Art style is still great. It makes it worse.
Like, I just feel like it's just kind of there. It's just something where, like, sure, it's a way to play these games on Switch, but I kind of look at it like it's just like they obviously rushed it out for the holiday just to have, you know, the Pokemon remakes there and everything.
It was sourced out to a team that had previously only ever made one mobile game, which is fine, but that's clearly why it looks the way it looks. Which I don't get why Game Freak and the Pokemon franchise are sourcing out their games to companies like that.
Well, they could probably get it done like quicker. I think the time is mainly the thing.
Yeah.
And you know, I do think to some extent it's something that's like you do get pretty much every type of Pokemon game on Switch. You know, like you get like, you know, Let's Go and Sword and Shield, but then you get like something like this that's just genuinely pretty much the exact same game, like overhead perspective and everything, just with like a new art style. But overall, I just feel like it really needed more.
Everything.
It doesn't feel
needed more everything.
Yeah, it doesn't. It needs even just the different lighting. I think would help, where like it would kind of at least make it look more like Link's Awakening. Which is a great way to kind of take like an old school top-down game like that and just kind of update it for a modern audience, where this kind of feels like it's just like, well, this is a way to play Diamond and Pearl on Switch, and you know, it's just like that's pretty much all it is. So I'm okay with it being there. But next up, I got something to say about this one. What do you got to say about Big Brain Academy, Brain versus Brain?
Look, we're friends, right? We're inseparable, right? Nothing's ever gonna come between us. I've never played it.
Yeah, I have.
I know.
I'll put it above Pokemon. Well, let me think. I would say it's above Labo, and here's why. You see, Big Brain Academy is pretty good. You know, on the Wii, Big Brain Academy Wii degree. It's pretty much just a little brain teaser collection, just like little mini games that are little brain teasers, you know, make you think a little bit. And it was fun. It was fun on Wii because like it had multiplayer, and it was kind of a fun little like, you know, like 2-player multiplayer thing where it's just like, oh, who's smarter? And this one just has such little content, and so much of it is just recycled from the Wii game. And I'm just like, is it really that hard? Is it really that hard to make new Big Brain Academy brain teasers after like what, like 13 years? 15 years? 14 years? No Big Brain Academy game? I don't know. I was very disappointed by it. It's not bad. I think it goes below Fire Emblem, actually.
Wow, you keep pushing it up more and more. Maybe you like it.
Yeah, I'll put it above Splatoon 2. But I'd say below Fire Emblem Warriors. I was pretty disappointed by just that game in general, but it isn't bad. It's fine in a vacuum. But you know, and I'm not even like the biggest Big Brain Academy guy. I just played the Wii game, and I was always like, that was pretty fun. And now I'm just like, this is just the same game but worse. like okay. Here's another thing. Like multiplayer wise, like it is horrible. It is literally like you play a multiplayer game, it's over in 5 minutes, and it's just like for a game called Brain versus Brain, I'm like no, fuck off. I'm not a fan. The original Bayonetta 1 on Switch.
It's a toughie again because it's a port situation, but I love the game to death. I really do enjoy that game. They did add Nintendo-themed outfits. You could be like Link and Zelda and stuff. So there was some cool support there. Personally, I would put it, and this is a big bias because I'm a huge hack and slash fan, between Snap and Zelda as a game. Now, if we're talking ports, I might actually backtrack on that and put it below Snap, but above the Mario games because it had a ton of extra support.
Here's the thing: in terms of just like what this game adds to being on the Nintendo Switch overall in comparison to like other games, and I think overall as its status as a game, as a really good game, I think below Snap makes sense just because like, you know, it was kind of thrown in as a bonus with Bayonetta 2. You know, we never really needed Bayonetta 1, even though like I would take it every day to have Bayonetta 1 on Switch. But it was always just kind of a bonus thing. So overall, you know, if we kind of combine every single line of thought in terms of like, hey, this is an amazing game, but it doesn't, it was always kind of like just thrown in as a bonus to the Switch library. And what does it mean as a Switch game? I think overall, like if we combine those, I think just moving it one step below, I think that makes sense.
I'm fine with that. I really, really do love the game.
I played a bit of Bayonetta 2 this year.
Yeah.
And that was something on the Wii U.
Okay.
I played the Wii U version. But overall, like I was just like, damn, I was missing out.
No, you really
like
were.
I tried Bayonetta 2 when it first came out, and I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, this is good, but it's just like it didn't grab me. And then I tried it more, and I'm just like,
Bayonetta 2, by the way, is probably, in my opinion, going right next to that Bayonetta 1 when we get there.
Oh man, well we'll get there. We'll get there soon. It's in the middle of our stack here. Next up is Kirby and the Forgotten Land.
Okay, I'm big on this one.
Where do you think that goes?
Big on this one. Kirby games have been pretty okay. There's been some good. There's been some really rough. Kirby Forgotten Land was a big reshake for the franchise, taking a lot of inspirations from Mario Odyssey, obviously, but I think even in parts, you know, the concept of something like Breath of the Wild, which is completely shaking up a core formula of a franchise and doing something different, and it's still working. Not saying it's like Breath of the Wild, but taking that approach. And it really worked, and it really paid off. It's by far the best Kirby game. I love it to pieces. A ton of replay value, especially if you want to go through and collect everything. I mean, I am really up there on this one. I'm probably still below Fire Emblem. Personal preference, I would put it above Splatoon. But I would defer to you and see your thoughts on that. I really liked it.
Yeah, I think it's a great step forward for the Kirby series. There's not really a ton that's really like, this is kind of bad about it or whatnot. You know, like even things that are like kind of like how like things in the distant run at a lower frame rate, I find that to be more charming, if anything.
Yeah, I never had an issue with that.
Yeah, that's always that feels more like, even though I'm sure it wasn't really a stylistic choice, I just think it's more fun to look at than it isn't, you know? Like, I'm just kind of like, oh, that's cute. I think I think visually it's great. Audio-wise, it's fantastic.
Yeah, audio was great.
Yeah, gameplay-wise, you know, they did a great job translating Kirby to 3D. I think, you know, like, there's more of, like, Mario 3D World in there than anything. I think it's really... I think it takes a lot of inspiration from that game. And... So it's not like this big revolution, but like Kirby's never really been that. So it's something where, like, as a really good, fun, more simple 3D platformer, I think it hits it out of the park. I think it's amazing at everything it does. I would say below or above Splatoon 2.
Okay.
And I'm more of a platformer guy, so it's just like like I love this kind of thing. I'd say you'd say your personal preference would be above Splatoon 2.
But I'm not. I don't mind either way.
You know what? You know what? We'll throw it there. We'll throw it there. Why not? I'm feeling a little risky today.
A little charitable there.
Yeah. Okay. Next up is Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Oh god, dude, I love this one too. We could almost take a lot of what we just said and just copy paste. They reshook up the thought formula, literally this time borrowing from Breath of the Wild. Also Monster Hunter a lot. Also even Pokemon in the Distance get really choppy frame rates, and I kind of like that too because it kind of looked like the little sprites from like Game Boy or something. I really loved it. I mean, it was the Pokemon game I always wanted. Granted, it had the Monster Hunter elements, which I enjoyed, were never a part of my dream when I thought about a Pokemon game like this, but it worked for me. I really did enjoy it. I spent hours in it, even more hours searching for shinies, which became a whole part of the meta playing that game. I'm really high on it. Honestly, I don't know if I would confidently say it's as tight of a package as Kirby is, as far as, there's a lot of bad you can say about this game, and there's really not a lot of bad you can say about Kirby, like you said. But for fun and for giving me what I wanted, I had more fun in this game than Kirby, for sure.
You see, I just don't think I like Pokemon. I never really cared.
That's fair.
I never really cared. I tried playing Pokemon Legends Arceus, and I could appreciate the evolutions and changes they made to the formula to create just like a much more unique and modern feeling experience. It still didn't grab me personally. So Pokemon Legends Arceus, I can really appreciate a game like this, but I'll kind of leave this up to you in terms of where to place it. But I might put it like a couple pegs below wherever you decide to place it.
Okay. Look, if my bias was coming into play, it's under Fire Emblem Warriors. I will be less biased.
Ooh.
I will be less biased and say that it should definitely be above Pokemon Snap.
I would say above. I'll do above Link's Awakening. How about that? That sound good?
I'm liking this. We've got something
great.
going here.
Yeah. All right. But now we got Cadence of Hyrule, Crypto the Necrodancer featuring The Legend of Zelda.
I actually love this too. I actually really, really love this. This was a fantastic game. People, that made Crypt had the keys to Zelda. I think they did a fantastic job. The music is absolutely fire. Some of the best music in a video game. The gameplay is super fun. When I first played that game, it was on stream, and I played it on that stream enough until I beat the entire game in like 40 minutes, because you can do it like really quick. I just love it. I adore it. I'm above Snap again. What do you think?
I think overall it makes sense to be like around that below Link's Awakening, because it's more of like kind of like a cute little like, hey, look, and it's just like a spin-off Zelda title. And I don't think, it really eclipses like a true, 2D Zelda like Link's Awakening. It's tricky though, because I only played it for a little bit, so I don't really have like a very big opinion on it. I don't got big things to say other than I think it's really cool. I think it's a great idea. I think they really executed it wonderfully. And they even expanded upon it with DLC and all that. So
yeah, no, it's fantastic. I will throw this out there. Do you want to dunk it under Snap? Because I'm starting to wonder if maybe it should be under Snap, but I'm good either way.
I think under Snap makes sense.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
I think it's a really cool idea, really, really awesome title. But I think new Pokemon Snap did a little more in terms of like just like giving fans what they wanted and all of that. Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics. All right, we have the first one above Fire Emblem Three Houses. Pretty happy.
Hey, you came on my little collab video and reviewed that game for me, so I will let you have that. I know you really love that game.
It's really damn good. 51 games?
For the price
There's
of
only
one?
3 houses in
What?
Fire Emblem. I think overall it's really great at what it does. There's a few little quirks in there, like you can't play like 4-player bowling. Don't know why. and there's like a couple little things in there, but I think overall, I think it executes what it set out to do blissfully. I would put it, I'm gonna be unbiased. I think above Cadence.
Oh wow, you're going that low with it.
Yeah, if we're not being biased, I would put it above everything so far. But I would put it above Cadence. No wait, did I say above or below?
You said I can't remember. I
It's
love
above now.
I love how much you love that game. It's
really good.
So great.
It's really good.
You do what you want there, buddy.
What are your thoughts on it? What do you think about that game?
I had some really fantastic memories when that game came out. Kim and I just up late at night in bed on my Switch, just playing that game, all the little mini games until we played through them all. I have a very soft spot for it. I don't think it's the best thing ever, but I have a soft spot for it.
Well, what's bad about it? Every game's online.
Right. You are right.
Every game has online multiplayer. There's multiple variants of each game.
That
if you really
true.
want to be fair, it's not even 51 worldwide classics. There's like 200 in there technically.
Checkers, chess, yeah, all of those.
They even go outside the house. They go outside the clubhouse. You have a shooting
Definitely.
range.
I don't know how they came up with 51 games. That's very innovative. I mean, chess is brilliant. I don't know how they invented that.
It's a good damn version of
It's
chess.
so good. So good.
It's really good. I would say Game Builder Garage, I think goes... I think that goes above Big Brain Academy or below.
That's fair. Hot take. It's very frustrating to play. I love the idea and the concept, but it forces you to play through hours of tutorials just to unlock all the mechanics, even though early on you get the hang of it, but then it still forces you to play through all of that crap. That was very frustrating. So for me, I don't care where that goes.
Yeah, I think overall it was kind of like just like a quick thing they just kind of threw together as a way to just have like just kind of salvage a lot of the assets from Labo, like the Toy-Con Garage element of Labo, and to just kind of make it into its own little like game builder game. But overall, I do kind of feel like it's it's just really half-baked, and like none of the ideas really make sense. The fact that you have to you can look up games, but you can only look them up by ID, and you can't even there's not even like a little thing where you can just scroll through games available. You have to find the games elsewhere.
That's just classic Nintendo, really.
Well, it's like I don't even understand it, because like that's more dangerous for kids. Like
True.
It's just like they're gonna go online on message boards to find Game Builder Garage levels. Like,
That
it's just
is
like,
true.
what are you doing? going on Craigslist? Like, it's just like you can't like.
Hey,
I
out
don't
of sight,
get it.
out of mind for Nintendo. That's all they care about.
Overall, I think like it's kind of cool the stuff you can do with it, and it's a budget title. It's only like $30, nothing crazy. Like it's just kind of like they put it out. It's just like, hey, if you want this, if you want like a easy kid-friendly game building kind of design tool, here you go. And it does that okay, but it's so lacking in a lot of areas to actually make it more than just fine if you want something like that. But if you want something like that, I would probably just recommend like picking up a PS4 for cheap and like buying Dreams or something along those lines, or even buying an old DS and getting like WarioWare DIY.
That's
that
true.
was kind of like a similar experience, but it was much better. So I think between making a Big Brain Academy and Fitness Boxing Sandwich makes sense for that one. Next up is Daemon X Machina. What do you have to say about that?
I didn't say much nice about it in my review of it either. It's not fun. It was underbaked. They tried to fix a lot from what the beta, the issues in the beta, but it still just wasn't. It's just boring. I don't really know. It's just mech. You just fly around, you shoot things, right? It's kind of boring. If you like mechs, maybe it's great. It didn't entertain me for more than a couple hours.
I felt like the gameplay mechanics were like kind of fun, but it's just like there wasn't really anything fun to do with them.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, oh, it's fun to shoot with a mech. Yeah, it is, because you're shooting with a mech.
Yeah, it's kind of like they had an idea to make a mech game, but then didn't really know where to go with it.
Yeah, at least that's just how I perceived it when I played it a little bit. I was just kind of like, it's just kind of like boring. I mean, like the mechanics are fun enough, but it's just, it doesn't feel unique enough, and it just kind of feels like a Japanese mech game. That's it. go wild, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I saw like a couple like 6 out of 10s for this game, 6 to 7 out of 10s. I think I think that's fair if you're being unbiased. I think this game was so, like, what? I think it was revealed at, like, E3 2018, and it was just, like, it was so forgettable after that.
No,
there was
super
like,
forgettable.
They kept on talking about it during, like, each Nintendo Direct, and, like, every single time, like, nobody had anything to say. Like, what do you have to say about this game? Like, nobody really had anything to say.
It is a game, though. Like, when we're looking at things like Game Builder Garage, Big Brain, which was kind of lacking, it is a game, though, and some people might like it.
Because of that, I might put it below Fire Emblem Warriors. Maybe if I have my way, if I have my way with this, I might put it below. Honestly, I might put it below Pokemon at this point.
Ooh, at the end?
There's more to this list we haven't done yet. So that doesn't mean it's the worst Nintendo Switch game of all time. It's just the worst out of these.
Here's the thing, though. Pokemon, while it was very ugly, it was the same game again that you could play somewhere else. At least Daemon X Machina is its own thing.
Yeah, but that's not its fault. It's a remake. What do you expect it to be?
Well, that's yeah, but that's kind of what I'm saying. I mean, you got a remake, you got a whole ass game, you know?
I'm just gonna be straight with you. Like, I don't think if you had to choose between playing Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Daemon X Machina right now, I think I know what you'd pick. Even though you don't like Pokemon Brilliant Diamond.
I'm kind of 50-50 on it. I don't want to play either of them. I guess it doesn't matter. They both suck. Fine, whatever.
I'll throw it at the end. That doesn't mean it's bad. It's just like right now, like out of everything, like I'm just like, I don't know. I just feel like there's more to discuss with Nintendo Labo. There's more to discuss with Mario Party. And I feel like it's easier to convince, you know, like yourself or other people to be like, hey, what do you want to play? Do you want to play Super Mario Party or Daemon X Machina? Who are you hanging out with? Who's going to say Daemon X Machina?
Okay, that's fair.
All right, next up, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition.
I would put it above Splatoon 2.
Damn, really? You just had this damn argument about Pokemon Brilliant Diamond being like, oh man, it's the same game again. This is the same game.
No,
again.
it's not. They added a whole epilogue to it. At the end of the game, there's a whole like 20-hour epilogue.
Pokemon Brilliant Diamond added new graphics.
Yeah, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond sucks. We're moving past that, Scott. This is a remaster. This is all new graphics, kind of. No, it is. It looks completely different. Like, if you put those side by side, Shulk doesn't even look like the same person anymore.
I'm gonna keep bringing it down until you give me a reason why.
What?
Give me a better reason. It's going down.
It's one of the best JRPGs of all time. It had a complete visual overhaul. They added like 20 hours of new story at the end. I don't know, man. I really like it. I don't know what to tell you. You put it where you want.
Yeah, I think below Splatoon makes sense. I think that makes sense. You know, keep it at arm's length. Tetris 99. Tetris 99. I love Tetris 99. I'm willing to put that maybe. It's really good. It's really good. There's a lot of content in there, and you know, you have so many different themes. It's a new way to play Tetris. It's one of the best 99 games they've done. I don't know. I'd put it below maybe Xenoblade.
It's really good. It's really good. No, it is. I like it. I played it a lot. I mean, it's Tetris, but
I would say above or below Link's Awakening.
do it. We need to make some progress here.
Below Link's Awakening. Fitness Boxing 1. What do you think about this one?
My hands are off. My hands are not in the mitts.
I'll put it right below Fitness Boxing 2.
Love it. That's where I was going to put it.
Or just to make things a little more questionable, below DC Superhero Girls Teen Power.
Just to mix it up.
Just to keep things a little fancy. I'll put it back where it belongs, right below Fitness Boxing 2. Mario Kart Live Home Circuit.
I really enjoyed that game. I thought it was super unique. It works fantastic. It works way better than you would expect. It literally is a full Mario Kart game that you play in real life. I took the little toy car to an actual go-kart track and attached it to an actual go-kart and raced around a quarter-mile go-kart track, and it worked. I played the game like that. I think it's sick. So up to you.
That's a little tricky considering, like, you know, that situation not many people are gonna be in. You can do the coolest thing of all time with any game.
I think most people have taken it to a go-kart track.
You could have gone to a go-kart track and bring that with Daemon X Machina, and you would have been like, this game is sick. I went to go-kart with Damon X Machina. I had so much fun with Damon X Machina.
I think there's an argument there that game specifically worked better because it was a go-kart.
That is fair. I will say it is very reliant on as much as you're willing to put into it.
Yeah.
It's kind of similar to like Miitopia, Nintendo Labo, that kind of thing, where it's like Miitopia, it's not fun if you're not going to make weird-ass Miis and throw them in there and stuff. Mario Kart Live Home Circuit isn't fun if you're not going to go above and beyond with creativity and make like cool tracks, come up with fun ideas, or you have the space for it.
Us as grown adults, sure. But can you imagine having that game when you were like 9?
Oh, yeah, it would have been amazing. So, I would say, because like, overall, even when I was 9, I'd probably still prefer to play like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I'd probably put this around the Pokken Tournament area.
It's got to be above it, but
better than Pokken Tournament? Better than Pokken Tournament, eh?
Yeah, for the sheer creativity in this and in the technical know-how that they made this thing work. I don't know. I think it's pretty impressive. Pretty ingenious.
It's more of a fully fleshed out game. What are the different... You have like 40 courses in Mario Kart Live, but they're all the same. It's literally like, oh, this has bubbles on it. And I'm just like, you know what? I'll put it above Pokken Tournament to humor you.
When you get a mushroom in the game, your cart in real life goes faster.
I'll put it above Pokken Tournament to humor you. My true opinion is that it's below. Yeah. Either way, Luigi's Mansion 3. Where does this one go? I would say it's probably around the Kirby Splatoon 2 range.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it fixes a lot of the problems of Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, even though that game was good. It still had a little bit of like things that a lot of people just were like, I don't really like about this. And I think Luigi's Mansion 3 does a good job kind of like combining the good and the pros of both the first Luigi's Mansion and Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. I think it does a really good job of that. I still haven't beaten it, but I got probably like halfway through, so I still need to go through it. But where do you think that this one lies?
I agree. I think it was pretty brilliant from start to finish. Every floor introduced new mechanics and new visuals. I think it was really impressive. I put it above Xenoblade for sure. And just in that range, I might even be closer to Kirby.
Well, I mean, like, if you compare it to Splatoon 2, I think it's more of a fair comparison, considering, like, hey, this one does have online multiplayer as well. You have the Scare Scraper. You have the 8-player mini games that you can play and all that.
That is true.
So I think Splatoon 2 might be a little more like fully fleshed out if you want to compare them as like multiplayer and single player experiences. But I do think Luigi's Mansion is the superior single player experience. I don't know. Where do you think? Above or below Splatoon?
I like it where you got it. For time's sake.
All right. Boom. Pokemon Sword.
It grew on me. It was
above Pokemon Brilliant Diamond?
Definitely above. A lot of controversy around it with reused assets. It did feel a little bit lazy. It was a little ugly. But the wild area was really fun. I still spent a lot of time in it. I mean, I'm probably closer to around the Fire Emblem Warriors than all the way down there. But it's got to be above Big Brain. That's all I really care about at this point.
God damn it. I can't win with this. I would say, regardless of like what people think about it now, I think in like 10 years, people are gonna be like, man, why isn't like Pokemon like, Sword and Shield was my favorite Pokemon game and stuff. It's always gonna be like ever like it's always gonna change, and people are always gonna be nostalgic for what they grew up with. So it's just like the opinion's always going to change. I don't really think it ever it's ever going to be like it ever matters that much with Pokemon games, because like people are still going to buy them, people are still going to enjoy them, and it's something that's like people are always going to look at like a certain generation regardless of like, oh well, they removed so much and all this and all that, but like you said, like they did add and they did change some things with this one. I would say below New Pokemon Snap and above Clubhouse Games.
Okay.
Thank you. Pikmin 3 Deluxe.
That game added literally nothing, right? I'm pretty sure it was just Pikmin on.
It added a lot.
Did it?
Yeah.
Like?
It just controls worse now.
That's
just the problem.
What did
you
it
don't
add?
have the weird mode. You have co-op throughout the campaign. some other things. Forget. Pikmin 3 Deluxe. It added a lot. It added co-op during the campaign. I do know that.
Okay.
There's like there's a prologue now.
Okay.
They added a decent amount.
Okay. They added so much stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm. A lot was added.
What do you think? Squad up with a friend. Look at that.
Deluxe editions.
Play. All your
Set
DLC.
Your pace.
Difficulty settings. The Piclopedia. That's pretty big.
Okay. Okay.
That's pretty cool.
All right.
That's pretty cool.
Okay.
I love Pikmin 3. It is fantastic. I think overall, while it does add a decent amount, I think the Wii U version still controls better. I think that's kind of the main issue there. I would say it belongs below Bayonetta.
Okay, I agree. I love the game. I think it's a fantastic game.
Yeah, I just think the Switch version maybe, it has its pros, it has its cons.
Yeah, I don't think they really added anything to write home about, but...
Metroid Dread is up there. It's a fantastic game. I don't really know if it competes fully with a lot of these big boys, but I think it sits comfortably below a lot of the big boys. What do you think?
I agree. It's well-rounded. There's nothing bad to say about it. You can't really pick flaws. It's a very concise experience. So definitely above Arceus. I'm willing to go above Xenoblade.
Thank you, because I'm not going to contest that, because I don't have anything really to add to the Xenoblade discussion, because I haven't experienced enough of it. But I really loved Metroid Dread. I think Luigi's Mansion 3 is a more like fleshed out big experience, where Metroid Dread is just a great return to 2D Metroid. And it's just that in general. It doesn't even really feel like, oh man, a comeback, like, oh man, after all these years, finally. It just feels like Metroid never left, like it just feels like it's just like boom, like here's a new one. And I think it's fantastic. I think it's great. There are some people, that will say it's just like, oh man, it's just like, it's too short for $60, all that stuff. I got a decent amount of time out of it, but overall, I think like the games above it offer more than it, and I think Metroid Dread offers like a very refined experience. If you like these, you'll get a lot out of Metroid Dread.
Yeah. I wouldn't have wanted it to be too much longer. I think it was a good pacing.
Yeah, for sure. Next up is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Thank God something goes above that. Is there any debate?
No, there's not. I was going to say the same thing. Finally, something to knock off Fire Emblem. That game is perfect. I mean, what can you say? What do you even need to say?
I would say that I think I don't know. I think they did take away a few things where like I have a lot of nostalgia for a lot of the stuff Brawl had that was just these extra little doodads that they might have simplified, like they simplified the trophies and turned them into spirits, and there's something to say about that. But overall, I think this is the best Smash Brothers has ever been. Overall,
it's the best fighter really there's ever been.
All right. Kirby Star Allies. This might be, I'd say it's above Super Mario Party.
Yeah, it's not good. I agree. This is down there. And
I love this style of like Kirby game, but I do feel like this one was a super downgrade from the previous games. The 3DS ones, Triple Deluxe. After Triple Deluxe and Planet Robobot, this one just felt like a super downgrade. It didn't even feel like the gimmick of like the enemies are your friends and stuff. Like it didn't feel that unique. It didn't really feel like it's like, oh man, like this is just different and special from the 3DS ones. No, it just felt like the 3DS ones, but simpler and worse. I agree. I don't know. I'd say it probably belongs.
I liked where you had it.
I don't know. I think it's better. I'd rather play it than all of these. How about this? I'd rather play it than all of these. I think it's not as like badly designed or like just stupid as like Super Mario Party. So I think it belongs right there. That sounds okay.
That makes sense.
All right, Mario Tennis Aces. Thoughts?
I enjoyed it for like 2 days, and then I got over it real quick. Not one of the best tennis games. Not one of the worst tennis games. Probably just around Kirby again. Like, it's just doesn't have much content. It doesn't offer much. What's there is there, and it's not necessarily bad. It's just no content. It did have the story mode though, which I liked.
I would say it's above Kirby just because the gameplay I do feel like was improved a lot from like previous games. They did add a lot of like intricacies. They did add a lot to it that made it like, oh wow, this is a step up and this is like well thought out and everything. I think that was really like, I think that was the best part about it. But and they did add to the content later, but like, I don't know, like it's something where it's just like when you kind of play around with me at launch like that, I'm not gonna come back, you know. So it's just something where even though they added so many characters and, you know, a couple new courts and all of that, I don't know. I think it goes in kind of the okay territory of like Pokken, Fire Emblem, and Mario Tennis. I think it's just okay.
I agree.
Now, Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition, this is tricky because like I think there is so much stuff in this game. I think it is truly the definitive version of that Wii U game and 3DS port. But it's still Hyrule Warriors at the end of the day. So I don't really know. It's just like, I feel like it kind of still belongs. I think it's better than Fire Emblem Warriors.
Yeah, because it's Zelda.
But, I mean, like, it's just better. They got more stuff going on. There's more meat on that bone. And it's also, I don't know. I'd put it above Pokken just because, you know, like, it's, you know, there's so much stuff, but at the end of the day, it's still a Warriors game. It's still Hyrule Warriors from the Wii U.
Yeah, I mean, you can put it there. It's fine. I would put it right next to Warriors. So either way, it's fine. Just above Fire Emblem.
There's more depth here. There's more thought that goes into this when it's just like you see it above Pokken, you're like, oh wow, they must have thought about this. Paper Mario, the Origami King.
I couldn't stand the mechanics of this game. The last couple
couldn't stand.
The last couple Paper Mario games, great story, great writing, great visuals, great comedy and humor. All of that is wonderful. I hated that rotating combat mechanic. It was insufferable, boring, pointless, tedious, whatever word I want to use. I mean, it's down there, man, for me. Like, I just couldn't finish it. I couldn't enjoy it.
Yeah, I think visually, presentation-wise, encompassing graphics, audio, story, I think it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, story-wise, I mean, like, it's not like, oh my god. It's just like, are you thinking about what they're putting out there? More so like, you know, it was well written. It's fun. The gameplay mechanics, I do feel like, are both a step up and a step down from the previous game, Color Splash, where Color Splash was also very annoying.
Yeah.
But the battles felt much more like warranted. The battles now feel completely worthless, and after just doing like battles a couple times, the puzzles just get like they're really cool at first, but then like you start to see repeats, and it's just something extra to do. That's just kind of like this doesn't really add, this just adds another step to battling, and it doesn't really, there's not a ton to this where it's cool at first, but it wears out its welcome pretty early on. I'd put it below Kirby, but above Big Brain Academy.
I agree. I'm not a fan of that game. So, I mean, I am and I am not. So, yeah, that works for me.
I think its pros kind of lift it above like Big Brain Academy, but its cons, it kind of sits it down in kind of the dungeon where it's already at. Captain Toad.
It's a really cute game, and it's really fun. I like the little diorama puzzle games. Also, the co-op, I believe it has now in that version, is cute and fun.
Yeah, they released like full-blown DLC for it. Like they released like a whole ass like
I can't be too
levels,
mad at that one.
I think people forgot. I would kind of put it around Pikmin 3.
Okay.
Mainly because like I do kind of feel like the controls have been a little like neutered, where it's just like because like it was on the Wii U, and now a lot of things just feel a little more like a little more awkward on Switch. Just the fact that like, oh man, you have to use like, I don't know, they do a couple things where like, yeah, on the Wii U they would use the two screens and touch screen while you're on the TV and all that a little more, so it can feel a little more awkward on the Switch. So I feel like it kind of fits with Pikmin 3 there, because Pikmin 3 is similar, where it does feel a little worse on Switch, but you could just play in handheld for Captain Toad, so maybe above it, but below Bayonetta. Live Alive. I'm down for this one to be a little higher. I don't know about you, but I kind of like it.
My really fun copy of the game is currently sealed. I it came out the same day as Xenoblade, and I've been playing Xenoblade, so.
Well, no. It came out a week before, so you just need a better time management.
What came out the same day? Something came out the same day as Xenoblade.
Digimon.
Right. Yeah. You're right. My time management sucks. I have no excuse. I didn't play it. What do you want from me?
My time management is horrible, considering that I played Live Alive while you were probably actually doing work. So I was. Yeah, I think this is a really cool game. I think it's the most accessible of like a lot of like more retro RPGs, JRPGs. I think the fact that it has multiple different playable characters, and each of them, like, you know, they all have different playable scenarios, and they're all pretty quick. Like, you can get through some of them in like an hour or two, and that just makes it very digestible, very easy to just jump in and just be like, I'm just gonna play this. You know, I wouldn't say it's like oh, absolutely incredible, but I'd say it's really cool and really good. I would put it, since I'm the only one that really has anything to say here, I'd put it below New Pokemon Snap.
I agree. That's where I was gonna put it.
Thank you. glad we're so like-minded here. Go Vacation.
Now I did play this. However, I
never
really
played Go Vacation.
Oh really? Well, I'm glad I have this on you. I don't really have strong opinions though. If you played Wii Sports Resort, very samey feeling. It's fun. It's fun to play with people, but it's very forgettable at the same time. It's one of them, like, you know, like you have Mario Party and you have some of your favorite mini games, but how often can you play those mini games over and over and over? It's not as fleshed out as a full Mario Tennis game. So I actually like where you're hovering. I would rather play that than Kirby, but I think tennis as a sports game is more fleshed out than any of the individual Go Vacation games.
Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE Encore.
It's pretty okay. I really like the story. It's kind of boring to play out. It's not my favorite. I don't think the two franchises came together in the best way. I know it has a die-hard fan base, though. Every time I talk negatively about it, I get a bit of backlash. It's fine. It's serviceable. It's not the best JRPG. Sure, somewhere around where you're hovering right now sounds about right to me. You gotta put it above Tennis Aces.
You gotta
put it above Tennis Aces. So yeah, I don't know.
I'd say,
have you played it?
How about below Hyrule? I played it a little bit. I haven't played the Switch version. I like the Wii U version because you get text messages on your gamepad.
Well, that's fun.
I thought that was a fun use of it. I'd put it below Hyrule Warriors. How about that? That's fine. That sounds fair. Super Mario Maker 2.
Look, my buddy Bob will kill me if he ever watches this and we don't put it very close to the top. That is his number one.
I'd probably put it below. I'd put it below Tetris 99.
Wow.
I got problems with this game. I think the Wii U version was better.
He has been known to say that too. So
the Wii U version is better. This one's annoying to make levels on. And they took out the mystery mushroom costumes, the one where you use Amiibo and you can get all those different characters. That made the Mario 1 art style so much fun to play. And now, those are gone, and it's replaced with the Mario 3D World art style, which is separated from the rest of the art styles for some reason. And, yeah, the story mode campaign is kind of cute, but it's pretty much the exact same thing as the Wii U one, except now it has a world map that you just walk around a very small area, so it doesn't really add anything other than just being labeled as a story mode. I don't know. What are you thinking? What are you thinking? I don't care what Bob thinks. This is about you and me and nobody else.
That is true. I think it offers more content than Tetris 99, but I agree that it's around that area.
I'll put it above. I'm open to putting it above.
I did enjoy the solo stuff. I thought it was kind of fun, and I do like making courses on it and playing people's courses. I don't really have much preference over the first or second one. So
this one definitely has more content and it's more fleshed out, but I do feel like it took some weird steps back, like overall. Like it just, I don't know. I think it's still in a very good spot. It's still in like the good ones, you know?
Yeah.
But I do feel like a lot of things about it just didn't really come together for me. And it was, yeah, like it just kind of felt like some weird step backs were taken. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I feel like this probably goes above it with the big boys, especially with the new DLC courses, in terms of just being like overall like the ultimate Mario Kart. But I don't know. I mean, being a port, where do you think it lies?
It's Mario Kart 8 is the best-selling Switch game of all time, one of the best-selling games of all time. They added a ton of content into it. It is a port, so I wouldn't put it above Ultimate. I think Ultimate really is the ultimate of what it is. But I agree right there. I mean, it's classic. I mean, it really is classic. I mean, you can pick that up and play anytime with anyone, anywhere, which isn't something you can really say about most of these games. And it's just fun. It's just like it's the best Mario Kart that's ever been made.
Yeah, I'd say it goes below Smash Brothers Ultimate just based on being a port and the fact that initially they didn't add any new courses. And the new courses that they are adding, you know, most are remasters and some are making their debut here, but like they are a dip down in quality. So it is something that's kind of like, okay, probably worse than Smash Brothers, but still like in the top 3. But we might as well get all the heavy hitters out of the way. Where does Breath of the Wild lie? I feel like that's number 1.
I don't really want to even have a conversation about it.
Yeah, that's okay, but where does Mario Odyssey go next to it? I feel like it goes like right next to it, maybe below Smash Ultimate. I don't know, because like I feel like Mario Odyssey is really damn good, but like I just don't really have an urge to replay it, and that might just be because I'm kind of waiting for
that's a good point.
Another game. But like I'm always kind of like I look back on it super fondly. Like I look at it, I'm like,
too.
Oh, that sounds so fun right now. Like I'm like, oh man, this sounds really damn fun right now.
I always see those 2 games as 1 and 2 on the Switch. Like just the 1 and 2. You are right though, if I was to pick one up out of Smash and Mario right now, I would probably pick up Smash. But to be honest, I would also probably pick up Smash before Zelda, just because like I'm not currently in a Zelda playthrough, so that would be me committing to playing Zelda again, as opposed to like I can knock out a couple of games online as Sora. So it depends how you want to quantify that, but if we're gonna go with like game quality, oh god, I would probably still put Smash second.
I think yeah. I've always seen as Zelda and Mario as like 1 and 2 on Switch.
Okay.
Like literally like, you know, like 1 and then 2. You know, I will say like Smash Brothers is like the most replayable, but it's also like, you know, it's still like, you know, you have that compared to like 2 of the best like single player game experiences of the past like decade.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just like I think 1 and 2 makes the most sense. But where does Animal Crossing New Horizons lie? Because like I feel like this also belongs in the big boys.
No, it
does. People have their complaints about this game. People have their complaints because it's just like, you know, like, oh, lacking in content and the content drip feed updates. But just the amount I played this, I
feel
can't
like it
really
has
complain,
so
you know?
much content. Like I maybe once you're
at
like
least like
5,
at launch, you know?
when you're like 500-600 hours in, sure, maybe you start
can't
running
really,
out of things to do. But I mean, think about how much you've played.
That's kind of the problem with like all Animal Crossing games. Like everybody's like, yeah, I'm done. I'm done with this. It's just like they play 300 hours.
Honestly, Nintendo needs to support the game more, like The Sims gets support, you know, with like all these expansions and stuff. I don't know why they don't. It's money on the table. I would put it above Mario Kart because it's not a port, but I can't put it any higher. It's weird. A lot of people will either have this number 1 and think you're insane for not, or like not even put it on their list of their top 10. But I'm up there. I think it's...
Or it belongs at the bottom. It belongs at the bottom because like, oh man, they didn't add not blathers.
There's always every Animal Crossing fan has their one thing that they never added.
The roost. They didn't add the roost until later, so it's garbage.
Literally unplayable. No coffee.
I got so much time out of it, and I love my time with it so much that I can't really put it anywhere but like the very high up. The problem is, you know, it's like I just see like so much stuff that was in previous games that took forever to come in. And most of the things that they added were from older games, so it just kind of felt like, why?
That is true.
So that was just always kind of confusing, and the fact that they kind of like ended support after like a year,
I know.
something like you said,
So
like they should just keep it up. But I don't know. Mario Strikers Battle League. I want to get this one out of the way. I think this belongs. I think this belongs either above Pokemon Brilliant Diamond or below Pokemon Brilliant Diamond.
I'm loving this. You know, just loving this back and forth. Really am. I got drugged through the mud the day that game came out, and I uninstalled it from my Switch and shared that clip to Twitter because it's that bad. I got drugged through the mud because people thought I was being facetious. Cut to all this time later, and everyone is on board with it being one of the worst Switch games.
It is so pathetic.
Yeah, so pathetic.
It is just very pathetic. I think the gameplay is fun, but that can only get you so far when you only have like 8 characters and all the stadiums look the exact same and there's nothing to do other than just play online all the time. And the animations are wonderful, but you only have 8 characters and they all just play the same animations over and over and over again. There's just nothing to the game other than the fun gameplay. That's all it has. Is just kind of fun gameplay. And even then, like, it's kind of like, well, why else are you playing the game? It's just something that's like, well, you know, it's just like, you know, you need more. You need kind of a you need something holding that fun gameplay together. You know, you can't just have like, oh, it's just fun, but like there's nothing kind of like harnessing that fun. There's nothing that takes advantage of that fun. You just have to sit down and be like, I want to play Mario Strikers, and that's all you really think when you sit down and play it. You play it for 5 minutes, and then you might as well not play it anymore because you're just going to experience that same 5 minutes over and over and over again.
Yeah, and it didn't evolve or change or flesh out the gameplay over the previous games. It was just a reskin, and yeah, this sucks.
Yeah, I would say it goes below Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. I think the gameplay is the core gameplay is good, and the animations are good, but that's it. There's nothing else to it. There's no modes. There's nothing to do with that fun gameplay. That's just kind of my problem with it, and like, you know, I don't know. There's just so
there's
little
nothing there. There's nothing there.
Mario Golf Super Rush has a similar problem, but I just feel like there's more to do in that game. At least even with the core gameplay of like, oh, it's golf. I just feel like it just feels like a more of a different game each time you play it, at least compared to Strikers.
No, I agree. I agree with what you said. I don't know where to put it after that, but it's definitely above Strikers.
I'd put it below Paper Mario. I'd put it above Super Mario Party.
It's funny how much lower it is than Tennis, but I do want to stress that Tennis actually had a pretty fun solo player experience, whereas Mario Golf's just was so bad, so weird and boring.
Mario Golf's was just like a tutorial in disguise as a story mode.
Yeah.
That's what it was. ARMS. Where does ARMS go? What do you think of ARMS?
This is a tough one. I don't think it's necessarily a bad game either, kind of like Strikers, you know, but it's just not fun to continually play. It's very repetitive, and it kind of just feels the same. Again, just doing the same thing. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, I put it below Mario Tennis Aces. I think it's okay, but like it did as well as it did because it came out around the launch of the Switch. And everybody was like, they were all open to trying something or just playing the next big Nintendo release. And I think visually it looks great. I think the gameplay in like a small vacuum, if it was like a mini game in something, I would be like, this is really fun.
Yes.
But they don't do anything with it like after that. They did, like they updated it and whatnot. And there's more to the gameplay. But it just kind of feels like, I don't know. It feels like you have to go into the game wanting to get really good at it rather than playing it and being like, this is super fun. I want to just play this nonstop. It feels like you have to go into the game being like, oh, I want to train for hours and hours and just be really good and just, you know, like just play nothing but this game and just get really good and just learn the intricacies. It just feels like you have to go into it with the mindset of like, I want to learn a fighting game rather than you play it and you're like, this is really fun and I can't wait to just play more of it. I don't know. I'm rambling and I'm going on a tangent about why I didn't really get into this
No,
game,
I agree. And you're actually
that's just my
articulating
thought.
why I didn't like the game. I honestly just found it boring, but you're right. I wasn't willing to commit to trying to get good at it.
Yeah, it feels like you had to go into the game committing to be good at it rather than playing it and feeling that
Yeah, because what else is there to
get
do
good
in
at.
that game other than just trying to be good? Like, there's not much else going on.
1-2 switch. Where's it going? Or how I like to call it 12 switch. because that's what the box art says.
I'm baffled by the fact that this game has retained its $60 price tag, or 50. It's full price tag.
It was 50.
This
it was
whole
$50.
time.
They gave you a deal.
I don't like it. It's the only game that I got any humor out of was the one where you got the sub. Because I would around that time when the Switch came out, I would make Kim and her granddad and some other people in her house try that game because it's just so ridiculous and funny to make people do it for your humor and your comedic value. But other than that, the game is just trash. I mean, I don't know what else you want to say about it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's trash. I just think it's a one-trick pony that is immediately like you play it once. You can play it once and have. Yeah, yeah. After that, it's trash. But I think that first time you play it, when you get your Switch and you're just like, hey, check this out, and you play it with friends once, it's just like, oh, this is kind of quirky and fun. Then that's all. Like, the game has no content. It has no content. It may have like 30 something mini games or something, but those mini games have no depth. It's literally just kind of like.
Reiterate. It's not trash. It's trash for $50 though. Like it's something that's really cool and should have been integrated in with the Switch, given for free like Wii Sports. Because like things like all the balls in the Joy-Con. You remember that one where you could kind of move the Joy-Con around and you could actually feel several different balls. Clip that moving around in the palm of your hand. It was really unique and it's really cool, and it'd be a really great way of like you buy a Switch and you're like, wow, look at all the stuff it can do. I want to buy more games to see things like this implemented, which definitely happen after this and don't get ignored like the IR reader. But for $50, definitely not anything at all. Worst game.
And even then, as a tech demo, like it's just like the only real tech demo part was the ball rolling one, and I'm just like, why couldn't we have more stuff like that? I feel like I would have played that game a lot more if it was just kind of like weird little tech demos.
The sub sandwich one used the IR reader. That was like a tech demo thing too, but it's just like, apart from Labo, nothing has ever used the IR reader. I don't know why it's there.
I think Resident Evil Revelations did.
Oh my God,
like a
thank
reload
God.
option.
That's actually pretty cool. I kind of want to try that.
Yeah, I think it was that or like Revelations 2. So it's just like, oh, finally something. Let's see. Let's cram through a lot of the weird, smaller games. Sushi Striker: The Way of Sushido. What do you think of Sushi Striker?
It's cute.
Don't be shy.
It's cute, but was never worth the price tag and doesn't retain a lot of fun. It's probably above Daemon X Machina for games I would want to play right now, but that's about it.
I would put it, see, like, I always liked this. I felt like I liked this game a lot more than other people did. Like, I found the gameplay to be really satisfying and addictive.
Okay.
But the problem is, but even then, like, I didn't really get much. I got, like, a couple hours out of it, but, like, I feel like I downloaded the demo when that game initially came out in, like, June of 2018, and I played that, and I was like, damn, this is really fun. I should get this game. And the game was pretty much the exact same thing as the demo. It just felt like it was the same thing over and over and over again. Like playing through the story mode, they don't even really change up who you fight against. It's pretty much always the same like generic soldier or guard or something. So it's just like it's the same thing over and over, and I feel you get the exact same thing just playing the demo over and over again. I think it's fun. I think it's cute, and I think they put a lot of effort into it, strangely enough. Like, it has, like, fully animated cutscenes and voiceovers and, like, the songs and all of that. It's crazy how much, like, stuff was put into this game, but it feels more like a game that should have been on mobile, you know? I'll put it above Mario Strikers, below Pokemon. Just for... Okay. I don't know. I still have a little like for it.
You know the Nintendo New York store only has 2 3DS games for sale. That and Fire Emblem Warriors.
Well,
they have loads of both, and for some reason it's the only 2 that they sell.
They want to keep people happy. It's not that they couldn't sell them, they just want to keep them well stocked.
True.
Jump rope challenge.
I don't think that can even really count as a game. I mean,
I'll put it around.
No, I don't think you need to. I mean, I don't really get the point of it. I mean, it is what it is. It's just you just stand there with the Joy-Cons and you jump and it counts.
And it's free.
And it is free.
I'll put it I got more out of this than I did fitness boxing. How about that? I'll put it below for what it is. It's free, and it was just a little like, hey, why not? I think
I bought an actual Nintendo Switch accessory for that game. It was a rope, and you can put the Joy-Cons into it.
Hey.
But ironically, I think Nintendo, when they made the game, they assumed that people wouldn't really be skipping correctly because you don't have a rope. So you kind of don't really do it right. You just kind of do it, and Nintendo accounts for that. When you try doing it with an actual rope, it doesn't work at all.
No, I think it's going below Labo then.
It has to.
Just for that. Let's see, Nintendo Switch Sports.
I got a lot of fun out of that for about a week or two. The online really, really, really frustrates me. Things like you can't play online with your friends. Like you can. Like if you and I right now wanted to play online, we totally could, but we couldn't go online together and find other people to play against, so we would be forced to play with bots. Stuff like that really does my head in with Nintendo games and takes a lot of fun out of the experience. So I would say around ARMS, honestly, I have more fun with it than ARMS, but around there, I definitely.
But I think ARMS has more depth to it, and I think this game is like such it's pretty much just a bunch of repeated games that were already available in like Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort. It felt like it's just like, wow, there's been this many years and like you haven't done anything more. Like the games, the sports you came up with to include were like volleyball and badminton. I'm like, I think I had my fun with it. It was better than I expected because I was expecting like the controls to not be as good feeling as like the Wii remote ones, just because like I don't trust the Joy-Con motion controls sometimes. But I think it controls well. I think it looks okay. Like the new avatars or whatever, but you can use your Mii's, whatever. It's just a little lacking in content, and I think it's over reliant on online multiplayer for a game series that initially never had online multiplayer. So that just felt a little weird. But I think it's overall okay, and I would put it above Go Vacation. New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe.
Not a fan.
Yeah, that one, it's not even a good port. And so
it's not. And I'm so burnt out on that style of Mario game. I have been for a long time.
Yeah, I think overall I'd put it above Big Brain Academy.
Certain parts of this list have like barometers, right? Like Big Brain is sort of the barometer for the lower end. Bayonetta is the barometer for the mid tiers.
Yeah. Well, it's like New Super Mario Bros. U. Like you'll get like it has its place on the Switch. I think it's it's like, hey, like they put this out instead of putting a ton of development time into a new 2D Mario game. So at least you got to be like, hey, at least it's a port instead. Even if they did like a big compilation of all the new Super games, like I think that would have been like, okay, well, it's just 4 games that are pretty damn similar, so it's just like, okay. Like I think it's fine, whatever. I'm just burnt out on that game in particular. I don't really care for that game out of the new Super Mario Brothers series. Out of all the ones I played, and I know they kind of blend in with each other, but like that one, I just felt like the levels were a little too long. They just kind of bored me. And I think like the multiplayer, even like the multiplayer in this game, they weirded out. One player has to play as like Toadette, and also like they made it so then like, oh, the spin jump or the little twirl you can do in the air, like they map that to the jump button, so it controls weird, and the only way you can turn it off is with a cheat code. And I'm just like, I don't know. It's just, not only is the game not the most exciting and kind of boring, it just has some elements that make it kind of worse than the Wii U game. And they even took out like the Wii U gamepad modes because it doesn't really work in this game, but still, like, so calling it deluxe doesn't even really work for me. Even though it includes New Super Luigi U, but there were Wii U versions of the game that included both, so it's just like, I don't know. I think it belongs where it belongs, if you have anything to say about that.
No, I think you broke that down very eloquently.
Mario 3D World, this one's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'd say it goes up there. I'd say it...
For the Bowser's Fury alone.
Yeah, I would say it's above or below Fire Emblem 3 Houses. That's how high I think. I mean, like, I think it's the best. Like, they actually went above and beyond to make sure 3D World is like a real, like, they fixed everything. Like, they made sure it's just like, damn, like, this is literally like the best way to play this game. And then on top of that, they didn't have to add the Bowser's Fury thing, but they did. So it's just like, you get like, I don't know, Where do you think this one was?
The Bowser's Fury experience is all I played when I bought that cartridge, and I absolutely loved it. I think it's definitely up there with Mario Odyssey for one my favorite Mario experiences. It's just so short and bite-sized. It's tough for me to then look at like Kirby, which is a full game, and be like, that bite-sized adventure is better than Kirby, but for what it offered, it kind of was.
You get 3D World with it.
No, you do. If you put that into the equation. Yeah, personal preference and what I had fun playing, Fire Emblem was more fun for me, but I can't deny the package and the experience that is that game, so you can probably just stop bouncing and put it where you know you want to put it.
I'll put it below.
You can. I was totally fine to lean into that.
This is you and I. This is a team effort. So you know what? One
that was my personal bias.
Below.
It's not necessarily where I would put it on the list.
All right, it's going there. All right, so next up is Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX. That's going straight at the bottom. What do you think about that one?
Sometimes I can't tell if you're memeing because I'm just agreeing along with the meme. That game wasn't super fun. It's not actually 1-2 Switch level. I think it's above 1-2 Switch. Really? Wow. Okay. So you're not memeing. All right. I don't care. I don't like it either.
Good.
I don't think it's good either. I don't like it.
All right, fine.
It's more of
maybe I put it below Daemon X Machina. How about that?
I think that's better. I think it's actually a game.
All right. How about Flip Wars? What do you think about Flip Wars?
Oh God, that counts. I
barely. That was published by Nintendo.
I barely remember it. That was one of the very first eShop games I had a look at. Barely remember
below
it.
Sushi Striker. I think
below
Sushi Striker.
Very forgettable.
I think it's boring and very forgettable, and there's not much to it. But I think it's like probably like $10, so it's just like whatever. But like I feel like Sushi Striker has more going for it. So
I agree. I definitely agree.
Next up, we got let's see, Box Boy plus Box Girl. What do you think that one goes?
I don't even know what that is.
I think I'll put it right below. I'll put it above Kirby Star Allies.
Bizarre to me, not knowing what it is.
It's a very simple little puzzle platformer. That was originally those games were originally released on the 3DS, and this is a Nintendo Switch sequel to it. Cool. And it's pretty much the exact same style of game. It's very basic, but it's it's okay. It's okay for what it is. The Fire Emblem, the first Fire Emblem game that released in 2020. Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon in the blue.
Yeah, I didn't play that. Sorry.
All right, well, I'll put that pretty much where I think it could go. I think overall as the first Fire Emblem, it's probably just okay. It's cool that it released. I'll put it above Box Boy and Box Girl. How about that? All right.
Love that.
Following that up with Pokemon Cafe Mix, I'll put that above Daemon X Machina.
It's the most basic and boring puzzle game I've ever played. I'm fine with it being there.
The art is cute, so I'll put it.
The art is really cute. Oh yeah, it's fair.
I'll put it above Sushi.
But it didn't have really cool animated cutscenes though, like Sushi Striker.
But the gameplay is so just I don't know where the strategy is. I just see it as like you just.
That's why I'm saying
around.
Sushi Strike is probably better.
Boom, there it goes. All right, Snipper Clips. I think Snipper Clips is good. I think it's really good, and I don't think enough people talk about it. Because it was right at the launch of the Switch. It came out with the Switch, and it was pretty damn good to boot. I think overall, I think it might be better than Live Alive. Maybe worse. I don't know.
Okay, that's gonna get some people talking. I have no strong opinions.
What do you have against Snipper Clips?
I have no strong opinions. It's fun. It's cutesy. It's not something I ever think about, ever. When someone mentions it, I'm like, oh, that was a thing. Yeah. But I definitely had fun playing it.
How about this? I'll put it below Bayonetta. I'll put it below Captain Toad. How about that?
I think that's probably a bit more fair.
That seems right.
Well.
That seems right. All right, Pokemon Unite.
I do like this game. I was playing it the other night. I'm a
Well,
big
you gotta
fan.
say what you want to say because I'm gonna put it near the very bottom.
I'm a big fan of MOBAs. This is a very light MOBA, but they did a good job. It's cutesy, it's fun, it's got a lot of replay value. I would personally put it above Tennis for sure, above whatever that other game is above Tennis.
Fire Emblem.
It's above Pokken as far as like Pokemon spin-off games for me.
I don't know, man. I don't know about this one.
Where would you put? I mean,
I'll put it below.
I'll
I'll put it below Pokken just to appease you. How about that?
No. Put it below Arms. Just below Arms.
Is better than Switch Sports?
It was much higher than Switch Sports a second ago.
How about right below Switch Sports?
Oh, that's fine.
I can get behind that.
I enjoy playing that game, and I enjoy playing it more than about the next 10 things that come after it, but I will concede it's not the best game ever.
Okay. Well, let's see. WarioWare Get It Together.
I didn't like it. I finished it in like 30 minutes.
Yeah, I really like the WarioWare games, but I feel like this one, all the micro games just kind of blend in a little bit more than I would like. You know, it kind of felt like, and like I think there was a lot of depth there. You know, it's something where each micro game, it depends on who you're playing as for this stuff to, for how you complete it, and you can change how you complete it based on who you play as. Like, that's really cool, but I don't know, I just felt like I got through it in 2 hours, and after that I just didn't really feel much desire to play it after that.
Yeah.
So I would say above Mario Tennis or below Go Vacation.
I think it has no replay value whatsoever. I mean, it's around Kirby Star Allies for me.
I'll put it above the Fire Emblem Shadowed. I'll put it above Go Vacation. How about that?
Okay, that sounds good, buddy.
Thank you. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. Where does that one go?
These are so tough, man. It's not super fun. I like the first two a lot. This is more of the same, very repetitive. They're not bad games by any means. They're just those like 6 out of 10 games that you don't really know where to place. You're around the middle of the pack.
I put it around the where we put WarioWare and Go Vacation and all that. I feel like it has more content going. I feel like I'll put it above Fire Emblem Warriors.
It's got a lot of a ton of content. It's just not super engaging. But yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'd put it right there. Let's see. Pokemon Quest.
That lasted an evening for me. I didn't think it was necessarily bad, but very, very forgettable. Probably just above Super Mario Party.
Boom. I'm cool with that. I'm very cool with that. All right. Famicom Detective Club. I put both of them in one.
I didn't play it.
All right, I played it for a little bit. It is okay. It is they are visual novels, and as visual novels, they are good. So I don't really have much else to really add. I would probably put them maybe
that is going way higher than I expected.
I would put them right above Mario Tennis Aces.
Okay, I can't argue because I haven't played it.
Never mind. I will put it above Pokemon Unite. That's my personal opinion.
I trust
I'll put it there. Mario 35.
I sucked at that.
That was quite fun.
It was so fun. I was so incredibly bad at that game. But yeah, it's like Tetris 99. It's similar. It's fun.
Yeah, I got first place a couple times. I do feel like it was kind of unfortunate because like every time I played, it just kind of felt like it would just play through the same amount of levels every single time. And I know I had to play more and more and more to unlock them, but it just kind of got really repetitive after a little bit. I felt like it would have been a lot more fun if they mixed it up a lot more, but instead it kind of felt like you just kept on repeating World 1-1 and 1-2 over and over and over again. Yeah. But I think the concept was fantastic. I would have loved to see this game not be just a little anniversary celebration kind of deal and actually kind of like be like Mario Maker where like, oh, you have different skins. You can have a Mario 3 skin. You can have a Mario World skin, all that stuff. I think that would have been incredible.
And add extra courses and stuff too.
Yeah, and it was a free game. So it's just like, I don't know. I would say I would put it above Mario Kart Live.
Okay.
just
fine.
because like it didn't achieve its full,
Potential.
It didn't achieve its full potential. It was just kind of there, and it was really fun for the time. But like, I don't know. I think Tetris 99 is still better. But I think it still had a lot of worth, and for free, I don't can't complain that much. Let's see. Dragon Quest Builders.
I love that game. That's got a very special spot in my heart.
Well, you can rank it right alongside Dragon Quest
Those
Builders too.
those two
where do they
games
go?
though were multi-platform. Were they co-published or something?
No, Nintendo published the Switch versions in North America.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I will say that the Switch ports are fantastic, but the point of the game is to build a lot of stuff. And when you build too much stuff, the game gets really laggy and the frame rates dip to unplayable amounts really end game, which sour the experience. But the full 60-hour campaigns are so much fun. The second game added so much, as well as 4-player co-op. I'm a huge fan. I'm looking at the list. They're definitely above Pokken Tournament. I would probably put them personally in between Mario 35 and Skyward Sword.
Oof. All right. I'm down. All right. Which goes first, 2 or 1?
The second one was way better. You could probably even drop the first one down below 35 if you want to make it look like we thought about it.
Yeah, you're just like, man, I really like Dragon Quest Builders 2. I liked it more than Mario 35, and Dragon Quest Builders 1 I didn't like as much as Mario 35, if that can tell you what I think about it.
It's hard, Scott, because I'm trying to do this list with you, and I know you really like 35.
I also really like, from what I played at Dragon Quest Builders, I really liked it.
Then put it above 35.
I just don't have as much. I don't really have as much. I didn't play Builders 2, so I don't really have as much of a. I don't really
Builders
have as much
2
of a
way
thought
better.
process on that. World Ends With You Final Remix. This is going a little down. I think this goes a little in the iffy category because of the controls.
The controls gave me arthritis. That was definitely tough to play. Fantastic game though.
Yeah, I think I would put it. I think I'll put it above Big Brain Academy, just because the controls kind of make the experience quite bad.
The controls are rough.
Yeah, but it's a good game. That's the tricky thing. Oof. You know what?
It's a fantastic game.
We'll put it above Famicom Detective Club.
Okay.
Right there. It's a good game. Without the bad controls, I think we'd be sitting pretty. Metopia.
You know what? I liked it on 3DS. I was excited to get it on Switch, and I started playing, and I realized it's really not that great. It's fine. It's fun. It's serviceable. But as you said, unless you're willing to really spend time and make all the Mii's characters in your life or funny memes or things that you can get attached to, it's super basic. It's just a pick up and play, run through a couple levels, and be done. It's not bad. It's definitely mid-tier.
I put it around Switch Sports. I put it below Switch Sports just because, like you said, if you are not willing to put more into it and just have fun with it and just be goofy about it, it's not going to be enjoyable. It's very basic.
It's fun getting goofy with it, but it's weird doing it on your own. It kind of sucks that you do this fun, goofy stuff, but then no one else gets to see your memes. It's just memes for you. Mm-hmm. And that's not as fun.
Yeah, and compared to Tomodachi Life, which Metopia is kind of a spiritual successor to, Tomodachi Life on the 3DS had very similar oh man, I'm gonna make my friends all Miis and they're gonna say silly things, but they had a text to speech thing in Tomodachi Life, so it was this really weird, creepy version of your friends talking. And that was what made it funny and weird. But Metopia only has text boxes, and I don't think that's nearly as funny. No. So I think I'll put it around here just because it wasn't for me in the state I wanted to play the game in. But it was I understand why people really enjoy this game. So I think around kind of the Nintendo Switch Sports area. The Stretchers. I never played this game.
I've never.
I don't know
heard of it.
anybody that did. And because of that, I'll put it above Jump Rope Challenge.
Makes sense.
Let's see. Ring Fit Adventure.
I like that. It actually, for someone who's into fitness, I was able to really appreciate the way they integrated a lot of fitness ideals, but the way you move your body and the way you use the ring. It's crazy that just the ring can give you a full workout when you start putting in your own body and your legs and all of that. And also, the game is kind of fun for like an RPG that you play with your body. They put a lot of work and thought into it. And you could legitimately get into shape with this fitness game, and not a lot of fitness games can say that.
I do agree. I think this game is a really well thought out kind of successor to the Wii Fit series, where it's an actual game, and I think it kind of pleases both camps, where it's just like it's more of a game than Wii Fit, but it's still like very understandable like Wii Fit. And I think it's just this really good middle ground. I think putting it above Captain Toad, but below Bayonetta.
Yeah. Okay. I agree.
Speaking of that, where does Bayonetta 2 go?
Yeah, I still think it's right next to Bayonetta. They're very interchangeable games. You can like play one right into the next one and it feels like the same game. I don't know if that's just me, but I think they're great.
That is fair. Bayonetta 2 is just kind of like a continuation of Bayonetta 1, but better.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I feel like we could probably put it above like Pokemon Sword.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
You know, I think that works. I think that feels better.
I get scared to put anything above Club 51. I got to be honest.
I'll put Clubhouse Games above Pokemon Sword. How about that? All right. Good job. No, that's Part-Time UFO. Well, Part-Time UFO. I like this game. It's cute.
I didn't play that.
It is. It was a mobile game released by HAL, the Kirby people, and Nintendo published the Switch version. And it's pretty nice. It's pretty fun. It's a cute little game. It's better than Box Boy and Box Girl. I'd put it I'll put it above Mario Kart Live.
That's getting higher and higher.
It's pretty good, and you can't say a damn thing about it because you never played it. So I'll just go ahead. Let's see. Good job.
I have played that. It's fun. It's definitely a unique idea. Not super high though. Not super high.
Maybe like below Mario Kart Live or like above Mario Tennis Aces.
Yeah, I'm fine with anything in that area. I'd rather play it than most of those.
All right. We'll put it below Mario Kart Live. How about that? All right.
I'm easy.
Now we have Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity.
Okay, this one's
which
high.
I enjoyed this game.
This one's high.
I enjoyed this game quite a bit.
Yeah, I really liked it.
I do feel like the story fell apart at the end, in my opinion.
Okay.
As in like the big, as in like when they start incorporating time travel stuff, like that just kind of takes and just kind of like tears apart the entire like reason why I really wanted to play the game,
It's interesting.
Just kind of goes like, I mean, like it didn't ruin it, but it made the game less enjoyable to me, even though I still enjoyed it quite a bit.
I like time travel stories, and I think that from the start, something had to happen like that for a lot of things to make sense. But in general, the story was fantastic, whether it fell apart at the end or not. I think it was really cool what they did. And I thought the gameplay for a Warriors game was the best they've done so far. I thought it was super fun.
I think below Bayonetta and Bayonetta 2, because like, those have much better gameplay in terms of, hack and slash. But maybe around the Ring Fit area, probably like less than Ring Fit, but better than like Captain Toad.
Sure. I don't think it's a better game than Ring Fit, but I think Ring Fit did some really unique things.
Yeah, I think that's kind of my mentality with it. But no, like I really enjoyed the game. I thought like it was great. I just felt like going into it, I wasn't really expecting a time travel story, so that's kind of like why it felt like a little like just like, oh, like, so that's what we're doing near the end. But,
I'll say that the win was taking out the sails, realizing that it might not actually be a canon story. But I think Breath of the Wild 2 is going to answer a lot of those questions on whether or not it ends up being canon. So we'll see.
Super Kirby Clash. What do you think about Super Kirby Clash?
Was that the pay-to-win one, or the one just that was free to play in general?
It was free to play.
Microtransactions.
It was free to play.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't.
Below Kirby Star Allies, but above Paper Mario.
Yeah, that's fair. Those games to me are very interchangeable.
Kirby's Dream Buffet.
I don't like
Where
it.
does this one go?
I don't like it.
Really? I haven't played it yet.
I uninstalled that day one. Two of my friends and I played it together, and we all uninstalled it day one. Super technical issues online, just really laggy, frame rate drops, really basic game, Fall Guys light. Honestly, just group it with the other 2 Kirby's, but probably put it above Star Allies just because it's $15. And I would rather play it than Star Allies.
Boom. I assume I would kind of like it, but I have not played it yet, so it's going right here as of the moment. Kirby Fighters 2. That's not bad. It's a little fighter game with Kirby's. There's a second one. And I think it's I don't think it's that bad. I think I'll put it above I'll put it right below Miitopia. How about that? Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right.
Scott, please the Kirby Fighters 2 fans. All right. Well, next up is Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. Where does that one go?
I really like these remakes. I thought the visuals were gorgeous. The gameplay was a bit of a hit or miss with whatever weird things they were trying to do, but I think it's probably the best way to play those games. I mean, I think I'm high with it, not too high, middle of the pack, probably around about that remake port area of the 3D Mario games and Skyward Sword, somewhere around there.
All right. I'll probably put it like put it below Skyward Sword. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. I like this game. I really like it.
Same.
It's one of my favorites, in fact.
That was probably one of the laziest Wii U ports, though. They just added Funky Kong.
But it's pretty good.
It is really good, but it is a Wii U game. Literally, to its core.
I will put it right below Bayonetta 2.
I'm okay with that.
Cool.
It's a great game.
Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes.
I played like an hour, and that's it.
It's okay. I will put it below Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity. I'm open to like putting it. Boy, where's regular Hyrule Warriors? Oof.
It's definitely above regular Hyrule Warriors because now we're in the stage of Warriors games where they're integrated in with the stories. You can play that game with the 3 different houses. I think it's really cool what they've done. And I don't not like it. I just have other things to play right now. So
I'll put it below Hyrule Warriors, and I'll put it below Captain Toad, but above Snipper Clips. That feels right to me. That
as long as it feels right to you that you said those things out loud.
All right. Mario Party Superstars, they fixed all the issues. All of the issues with Super Mario Party. It is still based on older content, so that might take it down a couple notches, but I think it is easily one of the best multiplayer games on Switch. I would honestly put it below Link's Awakening. I know, but still. I think it's pretty good.
You know, I would probably
down to put it like below Paper Mario. I'm open to discussion here. I
was actually thinking of going a little higher than where you had it.
Ooh.
I was open to the idea just because it is really Mario Party finally back in action in like a decade. Like it's been so long. It is a little lackluster for me, and there could be more content, but what's there is exactly what I've wanted. So I would go below Arceus, because I would honestly pick that up if you wanted to play it after this and play it.
See, here's the thing. I think Mario Maker 2 has more content, though. So I'm kind of like maybe.
Yeah, but at least you don't have to. At least you don't have to make the content in Mario Party.
That is true, but you just gotta find the content. All right. I'm down. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna.
I actually liked that, believe it or not. It was a big step up. It's below Bayonetta. It's below Hyrule Warriors. Sorry, now I'm just looking at the list. Now we're getting into there's so much in this list. I don't think I could put it below Pikmin. So
nobody could.
I'm in that.
Nobody
could. I'm in that region. Here's why. We haven't got to Xenoblade 2 yet, for obvious reasons, I'm sure. But that game, Torna, did fix almost all the issues I had with 2, and I really enjoyed the story. It was off and running from the start of the game, and it was pretty solid. I liked it quite a bit.
I think it makes sense to kind of put this below Captain Toad, but above Fire Emblem Warriors, just because, like Warriors is still a Warriors game. This is, more of a fully fledged, or at least, an a sequel. Or
it's a pretty big game.
Standalone DLC pretty much to Xenoblade 2. So I think where it's at makes sense. All right, Yoshi's Crafted World. I got things to say. I don't really like this game. I don't really like it. I would say it's better than Kirby.
Yes. Yeah. I always see Star Allies and this Yoshi game right next to each other for these big IPs that just deliver basic, super easy baby versions of these games that we just don't need at this point. They're hand in hand. But Yoshi was more fun.
Well, the problem is, like, Yoshi's Woolly World on Wii U was so good. It was very, very good. It was beautiful, fantastic. And this one just felt like a downgrade in most ways. The gameplay is kind of interesting how, you know, it is 3D, but still 2D pretty much. They have some cool ideas, but, like, it's just, I don't know. It's just so just mediocre. I don't know. Like, that's just kind of my thing. That's just all it is, like, honestly. Xenoblade 3. The third Xenoblade.
Really good. Better than 2, better than Torna, not better than 1. So it's below definitive, but only just. I would put it
like right here.
I would put it above Arceus. I really liked it. I'm still playing it. I'm like 80 hours in and the content's not drying up. So I really like that game.
Dragon Quest XI S, I think is wonderful.
Fantastic. That's really, 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 really high. That's above Bowser's Fury for me.
Damn. I would say, how about this? I'd go below Fire Emblem.
I would go above. Why would you go below?
I don't know. I just feel, sometimes you just feel like that makes sense. That just makes sense. I don't know why.
I'm not going to put up an argument. I'll just say that it kind of feels to me like an RPG version of Ocarina of Time, and I just love it so much.
How about this? Below 3D World. I think.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine with that. Yeah.
That feels right. Octopath Traveler.
Really loved this game when it came out. The story got really repetitive and derailed near the end. The back quarter was pretty boring. But great game, and it inspired and spurred on Triangle Strategy as well as Live Alive, I'm sure, happened because of this game. So, and I know what I'm saying there, but the remake happened, I think, because of the success of this game. So yeah, under Live Alive, I'm good with that. Somewhere around there, I'm fine with that.
I'd say below Bayonetta 2 and above Donkey Kong.
Do you really like it? Is that why you put it there? Because I might go under the first Bayonetta, unless you have strong opinions here.
I'm down. I'm down for that.
Okay.
I don't care one way or another.
Okay, all right.
I couldn't care one way or another. I'm just trying to be unbiased. Astral Chain. I didn't really
love this game.
I personally didn't really care for this one, but
I loved it. I'm a big hack and slash fan. This game brought so much to the hack and slash genre that I haven't seen before. With the chain blade scenario, using both at once was super unique. I really enjoyed the setting, the cyberpunk-esqueness to it. The story I thought was really cool, but mostly I was just there for the gameplay. We don't get enough hack and slashes, and that one was brilliant. I think that's better than Bayonetta 1. So,
oh damn.
Yeah, no, I really liked it. I really liked it.
That makes sense to me. We got Bravely Default 2. You know, it kind of just felt like a little, like, for the fans, it was great. I don't think this really appealed to many people other than like pre-existing fans of Bravely Default, you know?
I agree 100%.
That's just how I perceive it. So like, I don't really know where to put it. For me personally, I played the demo, it didn't grab me at all. You know, so what are you feeling?
I had friends that adored it. I tried playing it. I'm so sorry. I was bored to tears, and I didn't really like the visual style that much. I'm not saying it's a bad game. It's just this game suffers from something that a lot of JRPG fans love. It is traditional JRPG to its core. It doesn't do any flair, and that's what this game is good at, but that's what makes it boring. So I'm pretty low on it, but I'll let you put it where you want to put it.
How about below Tokyo Mirage Sessions?
Yes, I would rather play Tokyo. Yeah,
because that has a bit more flair.
Tokyo has a ton of flair.
Yeah, so like I feel like Bravely Default's a little more like you say, traditional in the sense of like not a ton of flair, but also like, you know, you're getting a good JRPG experience. It just may be a little boring, at least to like me, who it's not my go-to genre, and also like I haven't played enough of it to really say, but I'll just put it there.
Big and flashy, you know. I need to be distracted while I play.
Well, that's why that's why the HD 2D style works. Is just it's just more interesting to look at than what they had going on in Bravely Default 2. Mm-hmm. Which is why like I'm just like, you know, it's just like just didn't really add up for me.
That's why I like
strategy though. Oh, but go on.
I was going to say that's why I like Xenoblade. Even though the gameplay is kind of boring and slow paced, the story is so good. But Triangle Strategy, though, I had nowhere else to go with that. I was letting you finish your sentiment.
I haven't played it. I haven't played. I haven't played Triangle Strategy.
Started it. This game suffers from just a slog of dialogue. It's almost a graphic novel, and a lot of people have said it's almost part graphic novel, part turn-based strategy RPG. And for me, that did lose me a bit. I didn't enjoy it as much as Octopath, but in the hour that I played, so I would be under it. But I can't speak too much for it, having only played that couple hours.
I'm down to put it like right next to
I've heard great
Octopath.
things. Just a lot of reading.
All right, and then we finally got down to one game left, and yeah, I'll just put that right there.
Okay, great, cool.
We're good. Yeah, we're good.